and they gave up a couple of big plays, but they did a lot of little good things where they hung and hung and hung tough. And yet you've got to hang in enough that good things can start to happen. So again, let's go to that 5:31 mark. Okay, so it's looking bleak. And all of a sudden, Brady goes 91 yards in 10 plays. But the turning point play for me, the icebreaker for Brady is 2nd and 20 at New Orleans 45 with 3:10. 3:10 left.
Why are you playing man coverage in this?
He hadn't done anything the whole game. Mike Evans really hasn't done much of anything. And finally, Brady throws a decent deep ball that could have been caught except for the foul that occurred, and it was blatant pass interference.
Skip, what have we learned about Tom Brady? Late in the ball game, what's he going to do? Go back and look at the Rams game last year in the divisional. What did he do, Skip?
Jalen Ramsey.
He's going to take the shot.
To that guy. That's his guy.
That area of the field, all you got to do is study the tape and know Brady's history. He's going to take a shot because he's saying, you know what? Y'all keep on jumping these underneath stuff. Skip, he's nickel and dime you. All he do is setting bait out there for you.
Okay, that's a 44-yard play. And all of a sudden, you gave him a breath. You gave him some life because all he's got is a little 1-yard touchdown pass, right?
But guess what you did, Skip? Because that's a spot foul, now all of a sudden, you've given him 35, 40 seconds that he would have needed to get down there.
Agreed. And it just happened like that. And all of a sudden, I sat back and said, wait a second.
I said this.
Wait a second. It's going to be 16-10.
Yes.
Oh, 16-10. Okay, defense, what you got, defense? And the defense came up with a big sack, and all of a sudden it goes 3rd and 17 at the Saints' 18-yard line.
Right.
And now the play that you already called up in question, this is the throw to Taysom Hill.
Andy Dalton has never thrown a better pass in his life. Skip, you can't throw it any better.
Can't throw it any better than this.
That thing got GPS tracking on it.
When it hit his hands, I thought game over.
I did
because they're going to eat clock here. They might just go score. Even if they got 3 more points, the game is going to be over at that point. And Keanu Neal, once a Dallas Cowboy, late of the Dallas Cowboys, comes over and blows this play up.
Yeah.
And Taysom Hill's pretty tough kid, and I thought he would hang on, and he couldn't hang on.
Because here's the thing, Skip, is that he's catching this ball in the seam. He sees Dean coming.
Yeah.
So he's trying to protect it from Dean, but in the process, he turns right into Keanu Neal, who hits him basically on the ball.
Right on the ball, and it was a legal, clean hit.
Legal, clean.
And he got leather.
Yes.
He got good leather and dislodged leather, and I thought it was a game saver.
Keanu Neal, he's known as a thumper, and he thumped him.
All right, so here we go again. Now, all of a sudden, Brady's got the ball back. 2:29 left, and he goes Julio 5 yards, Godwin 9 yards, Kate Otten, who's starting to come back in the mix with 8, and then hit the quick run to Fournette for 10. And yet all of a sudden it comes down to 3rd and 6 at the 27-yard line. This is with 59 seconds left. Mike Evans actually waves out of the game. I don't know if he's gassed. I don't know if something was nagging on him or something.
Probably gassed at that point.
He runs out, and guess who? Little number 10 says, oh, I'm up. And he runs into the huddle. He's kind of late to the huddle, and it's 3rd and 6. This is like a pretty crucial play with under a minute left in the game. And he goes to little Scotty on a little slant and hits him right in the hands with a little rifle shot, and Scotty hangs on to it. Scotty's known to drop these occasionally, and he went up and clutched it into his bosom, and that was that, right?
Yep.
That was a huge play in the game. You could argue it was a game saver to, of all people, little Scotty Miller.
Right.
Then Julio rises and shines. And this was not Brady's best ball because this is the one ball in the late going that was a little off target because I think he wanted a back shoulder. And now we're down to the touchdown. But if we see the Julio play again before we get
to the one that got down to like the 5?
Yeah, it got down to the 5-yard line. And,
this one.
Here we go. And what a grab it was. That was vintage Julio because it's a little high. It's not a horrible throw, but he made a nice catch. And all of a sudden, it just sets them up. They're sweet to go. It's 1st and goal at the 5-yard line.
Correct.
And then Brady made, to me, at that point, his best throw of the night was to Chris Godwin, right down the gut.
If we see that, Mario Davis.
Yeah, and it was just a laser to Godwin in the back of the end zone. And I thought, he did it again. He pulled it off. And it's a hold on Donovan Smith, who just basically tackled Davenport. And I'm thinking, ball game, you know, because now you're backed all the way up. So now it's 1st and 15 at the 15-yard line, and it's only 15 seconds left. And I'm thinking, well, you can't do this. And he goes quickly. This is vintage Brady, because he said, now we're going back to the, we're still throwing this one. But he throws an out, if we see the out throw that he made to Chris Godwin. And I thought Godwin could have tight-roped the sideline on that.
He didn't realize where he was. Yeah. He had more.
And I think he's worried about getting out of bounds to stop the clock, because the clock is ticking at that point, and he kind of tiptoes up the sidelines. But it still leaves you one last play, because it's only 3 seconds left. Okay, so now we're down to, I think we're going to see the, here we go to Godwin. Maybe you could keep going, maybe, but he just said, no, I'm going to take what you gave me here, and I'm going to step right on out of bounds. So all of a sudden, you got 3 seconds left. Well, is this for the game? Is it one shot for the game? And
if you don't get this ball in, you can't run another play.
Okay, and they run a little route on Demario Davis. And I swear, Brady, that somebody said he yelled for 29. He wanted 29 in the game, who's Rachaad White, who's a rookie. So you want to get a rookie matched up on still a top 5 linebacker?
But he's probably your best route runner. She said in this situation, instead of experience, I want a better route runner. Leonard Fournette, he's not a route runner.
No.
So that's 245.
But he can body you at the goal line. Sometimes he can just shield you off and kind of wall you off.
I think he trusts White's hands a little more, and plus he's a better route runner.
He's a better route runner. So he runs a nifty little shake and bake route where he gives him a little head fake inside and then just wheels completely to the outside. And Brady had to kind of rise up over an outstretched hand and just dump it to him. And the kid catches it, remember, and they get revenge on Demario, who had victimized him with the interception. And I swear Brady's thinking, I'm going to get him back. I'm going to get him right here with this route. And I'm pretty sure he went to that because he loved getting the matchup, because this kid, he's got some quicks to him now that they don't have much quicks. They don't have Antonio Brown anymore. So he's got some of that Antonio. He's got a little bit of that Edelman Amendola stuff where he's got that little in and out.
He ran a little choice route on like, hey, I can sit it down. I'm working back away from you.
And he stretches across, and they pull it off. And yet, you say, what just happened here? Because I'm looking at what he did. Brady, in the last 2 series, he goes 14 and 19 for 118 yards. We don't usually do passer rating, but his passer rating was 125 in the last 2 series versus 62 in the previous 55 minutes when he was horrible. Okay, so what happened? Well, he said after the game, we've always been pretty good in the no-huddle 2-minute. And I'm thinking, maybe you should start running it out of the gate.
But it's hard, Skip. You're going to gas your guy.
I got it. But they seem to respond to him better in that circumstance than any other circumstance. And you know what? He's better in it. Now, I'm assuming he's calling most of his own shots from that point on, because I don't think you can get plays called.
Well, I mean, you can, because once your play is over, you can start. It starts back, and so Byron couldn't be in his ear. But I'm sure there's Tom that in that situation. Tom has plays that he likes, and he just goes with it.
Okay, so Shannon Sharp, to me, we talked about this at the end of the show yesterday. I thought it was do or die because of the Bucs schedule and because the Saints were coming right up on their heels, where if the Saints hold on to this, all of a sudden it's only a half-game lead over the Saints, and they have a much more favorable closing schedule than the Bucs. Yet all of a sudden the Bucs separate from them with that big win, and now you can withstand the losses that I think are coming at San Francisco and against Cincinnati. The toss-up game for me for the Bucs is at Kyler. It's on Christmas Eve, right? Okay, so I don't know if they can win that game because they're a 50-50. Like the first 55 minutes, they didn't even look like they'd make the playoffs, right? Okay, so to me, the drive, the comeback, saved the season and maybe made the season, because I'm pretty sure now they got a real good shot of winning this division.
But but they don't put fear. Skip, again, 17 points. I mean, Skip, if you gave me something, you say, well, that looks like the Bucs are coming. They got 31. They got 34. I mean, Tom Brady offense, Skip, is averaging 18 points a game.
I got it. I'm still going to say this. There's one man to this day in sports I do not bet against, and it's that guy. and he still has a chance. I keep saying, are they going to ever get it together? Remember, they're playing last night without Christian Wirfs at right tackle, and they got 2 new guys at left guard and center. And there's a chance that Ryan Jensen's going to come back. They're still being mysterious about this, but he might come back to play center because he did not have knee surgery. He's got a knee issue, but he did not have surgery to my knowledge. And they are not ruling him out to come back at some point later in this year.
It looks like the 5 seed is going to be either the Eagles or the Cowboys.
Okay.
I don't think the Eagles or the Cowboys are shaking in their boots to play that team.
Okay, you're probably right. Except last night, I'm going to remind you again, there's no Cameron Brate because he had some illness or sickness. There was no Antoine Winfield, who's the quarterback of their defense. There was no Mike Edwards.
Skip.
There was no one of the other. Oh, Murphy Bunting didn't play.
But Skip, their issues isn't on the defensive side.
I got it.
It's the offensive side. They can't produce points. They struggle. It's a struggle for them to. Think about it. It took them 59 minutes and 57 seconds to get to 17.
Yep, I got it. But in the end, they still have Brady, and I know you don't see it this way, but for me, it's still a privilege to watch this guy operate because in the history of sports, in the history of me watching team sports, I've never been able to see a guy play at age 45 at this high of a level because he's still playing on occasion at an extremely high level.
No question.
Right?
It's just harder for him to do it with greater frequency.
He's not doing it with the frequency he used to.
Right.